how's your talk time working for you in your coaching conversations? This is one area that we find can either enhance your coaching conversations and make it engaging and fun, where passion for learning and embedding new behaviours comes to light, or the person disengages, disconnects from you, and all of a sudden we wonder why we don't actually get any traction from our coaching conversation. Today is all about making sure that we optimize those coaching conversations. And Sarah and I have got some great handy tactics that you can put in place immediately.
As Kirsten's alluded to, this coaching conversation is one of the most critical, and let's be honest, this is the fun part of any coaching program that we as coaches are privileged to be a part of. You know, this is where the real opportunity to open a person's mindset, truly challenge and support them as they're moving through their learning process takes place. And during this part of the program, it's our responsibility to make sure that we're really open, that we're sharing new tools, information, and we're really helping to guide someone through their journey. And while we're doing this, as Kirsten's alluded to, we need to be really mindful about how much talking we're doing as the coach. And this probably seems a little bit counterintuitive. Isn't coaching all about telling someone what to do? It's a very common perception, but actually that's not quite right. And actually the number one skill we need to master is actually how we construct those really all-important thought-provoking and probing questions so that we're giving to the person, so that they've got some really great meaty time to come back or to think and then come back with their ideas, engage that brain, and getting them to really think about what's being asked so that they can relate it to their circumstances, their environment, and what's happening with them in their world at that particular time. And this is where what we talked about last week, the chunking and framing, Kirsten spoke about this, really comes into fruition. It's taking those delicious bite-sized pieces of information, or pizza as Kirsten mentioned, and actually putting those really robust questions and thought-provoking questions around them so that that individual can get into the right thinking space to digest those really important chunks and apply it to their circumstances as they're moving through each of these coaching sessions.
As a coach and as a leader or a high performer, coaching conversations can actually elevate you professionally as well as the person that you're actually coaching. Sarah was speaking about in the last session around making sure that we have really good, practical, interactive activities throughout our coaching session. And always remember, when you're designing those, link it back to the person that you're coaching or the people you're coaching, and then you're going to get greater results. So let's have a look at it from a coaching conversation side of things. You've already designed it so you've got the practical activities going through the entire session. However, when you're doing it, the order that we love to recommend is making sure that you follow a little quick formula that Sarah came up with called 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 is I do it. The second one is I'm going to do it with you and we're going to do it together. And the third part is that I'm going to let you do it and I'm going to observe. So before we just had the words together, but with Sarah thinking about that 1, 2, 3, for her personality, her learning style, and for a lot of you out there, it's always proven that for memory, when we look at things, especially in threes actually, we get that memory recall. So for those of you that are more analytical, remember 1, 2, 3. I'm going to show you as the coach how to do it. And I always love showing them the end result. The second one, we're going to do it together. The third one, you do it and I'm going to coach you. Now, while you're going through these practical activities, what's really important is to really fine tune those observation skills of yours. And the way that you're going to do that is as you're watching and observing and picking up cues, those are signals to you if you're on the right track or if you as a coach need to pivot or change and do things slightly differently. So remember, keep that practical side up with that 1, 2, 3 approach. Go through and make sure that you're picking up on those cues to pivot. And then the last thing that we always want you to make sure that you do in a coaching conversation is set up the next stage. And you do that by just saying to them, right, recapping, summarizing, key actions, moving forward, but then locking in. How are we going to move forward? Where are we going to check in? How are we going to check in? And what are we going to actually check in and look at in that conversation? and then locking that in right there and then, and that stops anyone feeling awkward after the event, and it makes it for a really robust learning activity.
So our challenge of the week for you is to implement these key tips. The first one is our talk time awareness. The second one is to paint a picture of what the end result looks like, so your participant can get involved straight away and understand their end goal. The third one is around being practical in our approach, so the 1, 2, 3 concept. Fourth one is around our personal awareness, so understanding where we're asking questions versus statements. And the last one, as Kirsten just spoke to, is agreeing on those really important next steps. Well, we hope you've enjoyed your week, and we really look forward to sharing with you next week the final 2 steps in the 5-step transformational process. Enjoy the rest of your day.